Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
The wait is over. The air is crisp in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and the thunder of engines once again rolls across 4 miles of the most iconic racing real estate in America, Road America, the track they call America's National Park of Speed. And it sets the stage for the beginning of a brand new chapter, season number 9 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod. And of course, let's not forget Jonathan Grabowski back from his glorious vacation. He's going to be giving you all the best views of tonight's action. And so each lap here, it's a test of nerve and it's a test of precision with flat out runs into turn 1, the commitment of the kink, and the heavy braking zone of Canada Corner. There's nowhere to hide at Road America, only chances to be brave. And the storylines are already crackling with energy. In GT4 Pro, Leo Dragota of the Orion race team carries the crown, while Chuck Labano, last season's GT4 AM winner with Frito Sport Racing, steps up to the pro ranks to test himself against the best. Meanwhile, a fresh GT4 AM field prepares to write its own story. And with SimCity Racing's Kevin Carlisle not launching a defense of his Season 8 LMP3 championship, who will jump to the fore in Season 9? Good evening, Larry, and welcome to Road America.
It is time to play in Wisconsin. Bust out the cheese curds and your and all your favorite Midwestern beers. It's about a cow. But it is definitely time to play here. And I'm happy we're back with another season of this. I think this is great because everyone starts out clean slate. The question is, whose start isn't going to be so clean tonight? You and I were comparing some new things the stewards may be keeping an eye on to try and keep things clear, because we know that long run down to turn 1 here at Road America can certainly be enticing to want to make a dive bomb move. We'll see what happens tonight, but I'm excited. It's a new season. Who wouldn't love more of the sports cars?
I mean, and it's been months since we've seen these GT4 and LMP3 racers here, as the miniMite Sportscar Challenge took a little bit of a hiatus while we put our focus back to the Touring Car Cup and World Challenge. Of course, World Challenge is going to be picking up again here in just 2 weeks with the start of their new season. But Larry, right now we've got our racers out for their 15-minute qualifying session where we give them 4 attempts, 4 flying laps to set their fastest times and set the grids for tonight's race. And as we mentioned, we've got our LMP3 racers here, but let's start off with GT4, not to throw John off, as we're watching Leo Dragota, our GT4 Pro champion, during season number 8, and he's currently your provisional pole sitter in class. Like all of our GT4 Pro racers, they're going to have the Ricmotech red number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on their wings, as opposed to our GT4 AM racers. Like, let's take a look at maybe David Klimovich out on track, driving the number 21 Slow Bros McLaren, and he is currently your fastest driver at the moment in AM, currently working his 3rd of 4 flying laps. And like all of our AM drivers, he's got the green number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on the wings. And then, of course, we've got our LMP3 racers. Pretty easy to pick them out. That they're not GT cars. And like Jeff Jacobs here in the number 38 SCCA Foundation machine, and all of the LMP3 racers, they've got the orange number boards, mirrors, and end plates on their wings.
Yeah,
And
big
right
stack
now,
field this season. I'm so looking forward to it. We got a lot of huge names here. You just look down the list. So at the GT3s, for example, will start there. Sorry, GT4s. Looking at the list here, of course, Leo Dragota. Hopefully, we'll talk to him in a couple of minutes here pre-race. Of course, his teammate out there, Mike Dam, one of the quickest ones out. Of course, Ken Copeland. You talked about him. Taj Edwards, and those Hawaiian drivers. Mariano Barrios, Brian Bennett. We got a lot of big names that have been around this series. A couple of new names thrown in there. Got Nathaniel Redmond should be in the mix here. I think he's qualified currently 8th in GT4 Pro. Mm-hmm. But a big group of the LMP3s as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Looks like we got about 9 of them signed up here. Could be a really good race there too. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I am absolutely looking forward to this new season, Larry. We've got a lot of strong racers here. Currently, we talked about Leo Dragota as your provisional pole sitters. He's working his final lap now in qualifying here for GT4 Pro. David Klimovich, your fastest AM driver. Our fastest GT3 racer, Josh Chinsky, who we've seen quite a bit in the World Challenge, but I believe this is his first time in the sports car series behind the wheel of an LMP3 Ligier. Good to see him out here as we jump on board with our second fastest GT4 AM driver, another Slow Bros racer, Hail Klim Club, Michael Klimovich, currently your second fastest racer, with a fast time at the moment of a 2:16.66. He needs to beat a 2:15.87, find almost 0.8 of a second to get up and challenge David Klimovich for that pole in AM. And that's very important, Larry, because we do grid all of the GT4 racers up together. And he's definitely on a flyer at the moment, but there are currently 3 pro racers between he and David as he comes out of the final corner, starts to make his way up the road. Oh, I'm sorry, that is Ken Copeland, currently our 3rd fastest racer. We'll see if he can move to the front row. And if he can, he needs to beat a 2:14.81. He turns in
close.
A 2:14.86, Larry. And Mike Dam now currently 2nd fastest in GT4. He improves, Larry, but he's still 7/100ths of a second off of his teammate Leo Dragota.
Those 2 teammates, they were a tough duo there with Dragota and Dam right now locking out that front row. But looking down a couple others here, you got Brian Bennett's finished up his. I think Mariano Barrios out there on his last lap. There's Mariano. Good timing, John. Perfect timing as he's climbing the hill there on the Road America Straight. See what he can do on his final lap, trying to beat his current 2:15.3.
And so Barrios, he leapfrogs
Picks up a
Travis
10th.
Schwenke to move up to 5th fastest in pro. Tell you what, Larry, we've got a special guest to kick off the season here. We've got our Season 8 GT4 Pro champion, Leo Dragota from the Orion race team, driving once again in the Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. Let's talk to him.
All right, joining us pre-race here. Looks like he's done with his qualifying and done well. Leo Dragota, nice lap, by the way. We'll see if it stands up. How you feeling about going into this season? You nervous at all about trying to defend your championship from last season?
I mean, there's a lot more people, a lot more competition this season, I feel like. So it's gonna be a little harder than last season. But I'm here to race, and I'm here to defend my title.
So your teammates aside, obviously your teammates, I'm sure, are wonderful and fast and all that. But aside from those teammates, who's the driver that stands out to you that you really gotta maybe is the one you gotta really watch for?
Well, Ken's back. He hasn't been racing in this series for quite a bit, and then there's some new guys I see out there that they've got a high IR, and that's always a threat. So we'll see as the season goes on. But yeah, there's a lot more people in the pro class this year, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's certainly a stacked thing. Is the first race of the season to you, is that considered more important than anything else, or is this just like another race that comes along? I only ask because sometimes that first race, if you get off to a bad start, getting a wreck early on, it kind of sets the whole season off with a bad start.
Yeah, I kind of hate getting a bad result in the first race because like you used your first drop week and you only get one, and you can't really use it throughout the rest of the season. So round one's always like just get a good result, do your best, and then play the season out.
Yeah. So, this season aside, good luck to that. But I do want to talk a little bit about maybe outside of this. I think you've done some other racing in your past. Have you done some karting or any other real world racing lately?
Yeah, we just got back from car race yesterday. My cart's having some issues. Its engine's a little it's been a little wonky lately, but
which engine do you run?
I run a 2-stroke Rotex.
Okay.
125cc.
Okay.
But Lucas has been cooking though. He's been consistently a top 3. He's been fighting for that win. So
yeah.
He just needs to translate it to the sim. I've been telling him to keep on practicing, but
well, there you go, Lucas. If you're listening, you listen to your brother. He'll tell you what to do. He's right. He knows what he's doing in the sim. But all right, Leo. Thanks for joining us pre-race. Any other comments you want to have? Any special shout-outs or mentions before we get gridded up?
No, just thank you to our Ryan, teammates, Huffy, everybody that does this league, you guys for the broadcast. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Good luck tonight, Leo, and we'll see how the first round goes. It's going to be a tough one.
Yep, thanks.
All right, everybody, there you go. Leo Dragota, driver of the number 118 GT4 Pro Porsche GT4 RS Club Sport racing for Orion Race Team. All right, Larry, let's take a look at the starting order. I'll start off here with our LMP3s. It'll be in our front pack starting on pole tonight for SRT Esport. It is Josh Chinsky with Michelle Squarick from Squarick Motorsports. About a half second back there on the timesheets. Michelle is going to start on the outside of the front row. Row number 2, Jeff Jacobs from the SCCA Foundation, starting alongside D2D's Bobby Childs. Then we got Aaron Beaver, Bobby's D2D teammate, starting alongside Jake Zito from HSR Phantom Racing. Then we got Jimbo Pfeiffer racing for Sector 5. He starts 7th of Pan here today, starting 8th today for Lead Paul Racing. And then, neat to see him in the LMP3 class, Russ Ruddick for Flying Tortoise Motorsports, driving the number 95 machine. He's going to start 9th.
All righty, let's jump over to our GT4s and on the pole. In fact, the whole front row lockout tonight is Orion. On the pole, we just talked to him, Leo Dragota, your defending champ in this class from the last season. Let's see if he can get off to the great start and try to defend that. Alongside him, his teammate, Mike Dam. On row 2, he's back, and this is the one that maybe Leo is scared of the most. Not really scared. He's certainly keeping his eye out for Ken Copeland. He's terrified. From the wrong stuff. On Ken Copeland's outside is going to be Taj Edwards, another one of those Orion racers. He'll be the third of the front 2 rows. Next row behind them, row 3, Mariano Barrios, your friendly neighborhood racing entry. And yet another Orion with him. That's Travis Schwenke making out row 3. Row 4, Brian Bennett. This guy's always quick from Sector 5 Racing. He'll be alongside the fastest of our GT4 D2D sim racers, Chris Thorman. Behind them, you've got a new entry here, Nathaniel Redmond. He's a privateer. He'll need to get a sponsor soon. We'll get him one. He'll be lined up alongside, well, the faster of the Jagodas when it comes to karts, Lucas Jagoda. And then we're about to go green with the LMP3s.
All right, here we go, Larry. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway here with the LMP3s. Josh Chinsky jumping out to a very quick start as Michelle Squirick has to move over to defend not only against Bobby Childs, but Jeff Jacobs, who tried to come up the inside. And as they go through, it's going to be Chinsky, Squirick, Childs, Jacobs, and Aaron Beaver, as our GT4 racers now come up the Road America straight, and they take the green flag. Mike Dam edging ahead, at least early on, from his teammate Leo Dragotta from the outside. Dragotta maybe getting a little bit of a push from the Mercedes of Ken Copeland there. And no such push for Mike Dam from Travis Schwenke, or Taj Edwards, pardon me, who's behind him. And Dragotta's going to jump out to the early lead as Ken Copeland tries to slot down the inside, coming down the hill into turn at number 3 to hold Mike Dam out. He might end up losing a couple positions here as they make their way onto the Moraine sweep and head underneath my favorite, the Cheese Bridge, Larry, and they head down to turn 5.
Brilliant work by Ken Copeland to just stick behind Dragotta and not let Mike Dam get together with his teammate. Copeland making sure those Orions stayed separated. Mariano Barrios also probably shoving himself in there, but looks like Taj Edwards may have edged him out before they got into 5. Great start by everybody so far, the LMP3s as well. I'm always concerned with LMP3's opening lap. Cold tires are definitely a thing. They are for everybody, but certainly in these prototypes. Yeah. So we'll see with Chinsky and Squirick that they've already pulled ahead then of Bobby Childs and Jeff Jacobs.
And Larry, speaking cold tires, all of our LMP3s made it through the kink successfully on that very first lap as they come out of turn 12, out of Canada Corner, start to make their way up through Thunder Valley, through Bill Mitchell, and into the final corner, turn number 14, where both Chinsky and Squirick now have opened up almost close to a 2.5 second lead, close to 3.5 seconds on the rest of the field early on here. Well, just they really handled those cold tires well.
The cold tire handling is a big deal. I think also it wouldn't surprise me if perhaps there was a little bit of side-by-side action. Here at Road America, that's typically with a separator in opening lap, is someone makes a fight mid-pack and suddenly they can't keep up because the corner exits are everything here. One bad entrance to a straightaway, you lose all kinds of ground. And could be what went on there. We'll kind of see here if Childs, Jacobs, and the others can settle in and maybe stick a little closer to Chinsky and Squirick.
Well, so far, Larry, the first lap, it's not over yet as our GT4 racers coming through the final corner now and up the Road America straight. But one of the I don't want to say changes for this year or for this season, for season number 9, is there's going to be a little more scrutiny from our stewards on that opening lap. We were told ahead of time that if there were, if there was some funny stuff going on, good chance that racers, in addition to the normal penalties, like a drive-through penalty, could actually receive an end-of-the-line penalty for the next round. Yeah. Which is going to be, I believe, at VIR. In 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get to the whole schedule probably in a little bit. But right, I think we've gone past that now. We're at least one second lap. Yep. I don't think the severe penalties have to come out, and maybe the threat of a penalty helped a little bit. But I tell you what, somebody who jumped all over that first lap, Andre Wedderburn, leapfrogged a couple of the pro class drivers, and as well as the other Klimovich. Now Wedderburn second to David Klimovich in the order of the GT4s in the AM. Now, between them, I believe, is still a Jennifer McDonald. So she's still keeping them apart. You can see right there as we've got Wedderburn in the 151 car kind of leading this little second group here. He's got to catch up quickly. You can see Jennifer in her BMW, always a BMW, up there in front of them. And she's then right on the back of David Klimovich in the McLaren.
Yeah, indeed. As they now coming down under braking, Jose Malbrand takes a quick look to the inside and cannot get that pass made. I believe Malbrand running the Argentinian flag here, Larry, and we'll have to see if that is actually his where he is from. Unfortunately, I don't have any information on him. Oh, yes, actually, I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have any information other than he's a rookie in the series.
Well, if he's Argentina, what else are you going to do in the middle of winter? That's what it is down there. But look at this here. As we've got the battle now, we're on board with Lobano, looking at Michael Klimovich. I started looking at Malbron and trying to make moves.
Yeah, and Wedderburn there. And again, Lobano, who was our Season 8 GT4 AM champion in that red and black Frito Sport Mercedes. That gave him, whether he wanted to or not, Larry, a automatic move up to the pro ranks. Unfortunately for him, he started in 15th position. He now moves up to 14th in pro.
Well, we've seen this out of him as well. Even in the last season, in the other series, he would qualify a little low and he'd make his way up. We've got a bit of an incident here. Jeff Jacobs looks like got tangled maybe with Aaron Beaver.
Yeah, and Larry, we are going to a full course caution. Wow. It looks like Jeff Jacobs, I believe Russ Ruddick was involved, and possibly Aaron Beaver as well.
Yeah. There's Bobby as he's coming down. I don't think he realized Jacobs was there. Jacobs kind of came into him, and then that might have been Aaron Beaver, Bobby's teammate, the other one involved with this. And Russ Ruddick.
And trailing cars, and that's where that is where Russ Ruddick, I think, got caught up in the mess as they were going down through turn 7 into the hurry downs.
Yeah, so let's look at this replay from the chopper here. Yep, there you go. Jacobs not quite in. Then you see Aaron Beaver, nowhere to go, hits Jacobs, and then Beaver sitting duck for right there, Russ Ruddick. Ouch.
So again, we are now under a full course caution. And I think even where we stand right now, Larry, that we still have the separation with all of the LMP3 racers up front. So even on this long track, I don't think we're going to need to have any wave rounds. Oh, that just hurts.
Sometimes the sim imitates real life, because you and I know there have been wrecks that look exactly like that in that spot. There was one in Spec Miata, I believe, at the June Sprints a couple of years back in that exact same condition. This is sometimes how Road America plays.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of room. This track, same layout as when it opened up in 55, a little bit wider than when it opened up in 55, but still
Russ Ruddick's
not
thinking
a lot
he wishes
of room.
it was a little bit wider still.
Well, he was going down the center of the track, Larry.
Well, he didn't see him because he was following the car. When the other car finally went the other way, suddenly the view was there of a stranded Aaron Beaver, and that was pretty much the end of it.
All right, and so, Larry, this would probably be a good time to mention that tonight's race stewards, who brought out that full course caution, are being provided by the SCCA Foundation. The SCCA Foundation provides funding for the SCCA Academy, training the next generation of race workers and volunteers that make real-life road racing events possible. Visit sccafoundation.org for more information. We are under full course caution, and Jeff Jacobs brought his car into the pit lane. Aaron Beaver, Russ Ruddick as well.
I feel like sometimes when we have these full course cautions in these series, especially these 1 hour races, is the possibility somebody thinks they can go a full race on one fuel. I don't know if they can stretch. It depends on how long this caution lasts, but if it's a 10-minute caution, it's possible somebody might try and stretch their fuel to the end.
All right, and so I believe the lights are out on the... Well, no, they're not out on the safety car because, well, they're still flashing at me. But this will be a single file restart, of course, Larry, when they come out and up the hill. I believe as with a regular start, they cannot pass until they get to the start-finish line. And the acceleration zone begins when they get about even with the entrance to the pit lane, as our GT4 cars trying to close up to the LMP3 racers.
There was quite a spread, actually, just in 2 laps, how far the fields had spread. So they are trying to gather them now, but you can see there your leaders in GT4 just now getting to the back of the prototypes, and I believe they'll start with a slight split start anyway.
Yes.
So that should be happening when they come up the hill this time by, I believe, right? Are we going to go one more?
Yeah, I
full course?
believe, Larry, that we're
going to wait and see,
We're-
here, which
yeah.
means they may have to wait one more lap. So iRacing has a built-in yellow system, which they have in this case engaged. It requires the field to be gathered, and then
Right.
you get one lap. You typically then get two, and it'll count down as a admin or race control. You can reduce that to one, but you do have to get the field gathered before it declares you under pit's open condition. They, I believe, are still gathering the field technically, so they have to do one more lap just based on the Sims requirements.
Indeed. And not only that, Larry, the pit lane is now open. So if our racers want to come in and take an early pit stop and maybe splash some gas, they can do it. However, this is would be very, very early and far before the pit window. As our racers are just now completing lap number 4, we don't see the pit window for either the LMP3s or the GT4s opening up until lap 11. But we are indeed going to take one more lap around the 4 Mile Sun here at Road America under caution, and hopefully then we will be able to get underway.
It's a nice day for a tour of the beautiful Catamaran. Yeah, why not?
And there we go. Thank you, John. A beautiful day there. 73 degrees. Heck, the track surface isn't even 100 degrees at this, and only 50% humidity. That's not so great. But then again, the weather at Road America is so changeable. We might go through 3 of the 4 seasons before this hour-long race is finished. All right, and so our leader in GT4, Leo Dragota, is being given direction to drop about 5 seconds back from the GT3 racers, now that we have everybody together, now that the lights are out on the safety car, and we will be going green flag racing this next time by. And so we see here as we go on board and look in the front and now to the rear of Leo Dragota's Orion Race Team Porsche, he is starting to make that gap between the LMP3 racers. So Larry, given the amount of time under caution here, and we've done what, 2 laps under caution?
Yeah.
Is that really to the point where the LMP3 racers have to worry about losing enough temp in their tires that
they will
that
drop
restart
a little
could be
bit.
race start ish?
Yeah, they're not going to be full race start cold, so that they will come down a little bit. We'll probably see here as we get down around the carousel. You can see already some of the field just trying to make sure they get a little bit more heat back in them. It's not quite like full cold though. But I tell you, we've been under caution for what, about 5-6 minutes? I tell you what, somebody might be thinking the end of this race without a fuel stop.
Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. We thought that the pit windows for these cars would probably extend, though, Larry, only about 37, 38 minutes. So, get them just a little bit more than halfway, but
Yeah.
With
So if they
just
could
a couple
do-
laps here.
Yeah, you do 37 minutes of green flag, and you throw in that you've got, if we're going to end up close to 10 minutes or at least 8 minutes of this, somebody might be thinking they can do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. At least it pushes that pit window a little further in the night, gives you more options as a driver now. You could go all the way until the 50th minute before you had to stop now, or you could stop at the 30th minute if you wanted.
Indeed.
And this long pit lane, if there were a way to get through this race without having to run through it, I'd be looking into that option.
All right, well, our LMP3 racers now, Larry, coming up Thunder Valley. And our leader right now, Josh Chinsky, with Michelle Squarick, Jake Zito, Jimbo Pfeiffer, Bobby Childs, and Panhirde, they, again, can get on the throttle once they hit that little green island there, but cannot pass until the start-finish line. And green flag is in the air, and we are back underway racing here at the National Park of Speed. Now, as they come to the line, perfectly timing things, Jake Zito gets around, or at least even with Michelle Squarick as they're coming down into turn one. Once again, though, Larry, Josh Chinsky just seems to have another gear that the rest of these Ligiers do not have.
He timed it very well to lead that way up the straightaway. And as the leader, you can kind of do that. You can basically go when the car pulls in, assuming the admins. But wait, we've got a spinner.
That is Jake Zito heading
is.
off and heading wide as he gets back on track quite a bit behind.
He's got a pack of GT4s coming his way very quickly. There they are.
Yes, he does. Side by side now, Dam and Edwards as they come down the hill out underneath the bridge going into turn number 3. Taj Edwards concedes the position to Mike Dam, so it is, but more importantly now, it is Ken Copeland from the Wrong Stuff. He is your new GT4 leader. Leo Dragotta, our pole sitter. He's going to try to go into the speed zone on driver's right and try to sweep around the outside of the Mercedes. Don't think he's going to be able to make that work, Larry, as there we see Ken Copeland cuts right back across the side, gets a little defensive. We've got another car, Jose Malbran, our rookie, goes around coming through turn 5. He's going to fall all the way to the back of the pack, but now up at in the lead is Ken Copeland.
Oh, beautiful car position for Copeland. Great run there to take that lead into the 3. Held on to it and outbroke Dragotta all the way into 5 and just nudged the tail of his Mercedes over inches perfect to make sure Dragotta did not get a run up the hill to the Corvette Bridge. Beautiful stuff. And look at them, super smooth around this carousel. Nice late apex down the hill. But I tell you, he had definitely the right stuff to make that move in the Wrong Stuff entry. And we do have we had an off there from Malbran.
We talked about Jose Malbran going around at turn 5, Larry. I believe that Ryan Haley, another one of our rookies in the series here, had some issues. Haley in the BMW there at the tail end of the field, and I think he might have found the Malbran car. No?
Oh, he just found his own way.
He just found the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately got a little bit wide. There might be some gravel there. Builds up sometimes early in these races. Either way, maybe just cold tires. He got himself nosed into that wall pretty hard.
And now let's move over to the Porsche of Andre Wedderburn.
Oh, that's Jennifer McDonald.
Yeah, McDonald in her BMW, and then Greg Brockway decides to maybe pick up the pieces, literally.
And this is all starting to going into turn 8, the bottom of the hill here, making the left under the Johnsonville Bridge, and there is not 3 cars worth of width.
No, there is not.
The Wedderburn and Jennifer McDonald car together, and then Brockway just had no way to go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looked like Jennifer McDonald had nowhere else to go either. Larry, reminds me of that GT Light finish for the runoffs in 2021, was it, or 2020? Pardon me, where the top 3 racers were all fighting for the win and ended up in that bridge button.
I can tell you the names of those drivers, but I will protect the innocent and the guilty right now.
Michael Lewis.
He was not the guilty, but he certainly was the victim, I think. All right, so we've got this little spread now between Chinsky, now up over 4 seconds on Michelle Squarick. Now, Michelle started to pull away a little bit here from Jimbo Pfeiffer. Now that Bobby Charles has been shuffled to the back a little bit. We'll see if Panhiraday or Jimbo Pfeiffer can make a run and stick with Michelle here early in this now green flag stint.
All right, so the pit lane getting awfully crowded already, Larry, is Jennifer McDonald, Andre Wedderburn, Brockway all head to the pit lane after that incident. Ryan Haley, as we mentioned, had that big hit with the wall. He goes to the pit lane, and of course we already had Ruddick, Jacobs, and Beaver there. Should mention, Larry, as long as we've got our 2 BMWs in the field on the pit lane right now, that when week 4 of the championship comes around, it should be right around the time that iRacing releases the GT4 Evo update of the BMW, and all of our current BMW racers will be able to move over to that chassis with no charge. Also, coming online after round number 3, so that would be round 4, should be the new Ford Mustang GT4 car that iRacing is releasing. So be interesting to see. It's been the GT3 edition's been very quick at the World Challenge. I'd like to see how the GT4 edition plays out here.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I'm really happy to see the admins decided to leave that option open to drivers. Normally, when you pick a car, you're in it for the season, but sometimes when the Ricmotech season overlaps with the iRacing season, things happen, cars change, and whatever happens. In this case, GT4 Mustang's coming out. They're giving the option to drivers to shift to that Mustang if they want to mid-season. I think it'll be interesting to see who tries it. We know in the GT3 ranks, the Mustangs become quite popular. We've had a lot of them very successfully. In fact, our previous season World Challenge was won in the Pro class by a Mustang. So maybe the GT4 car will be right there with it.
All right. Well, you know, I don't think it's going to be any consolation for Jennifer McDonald or Greg Brockway, but Andre Wedderburn, who is currently on the pit lane getting repairs, has just been assigned to drive through penalty for incident responsibility. Oh,
Hey,
as Ken
Ken
Copeland gets
Copeland.
very loose coming out of 7.
He did. He got himself a little bit of that grass there, heading down the downs, and almost went around on the downs.
And into Speedville we go. And Larry, probably the biggest travesty in real life is Speedville is no longer Speedville at Road America. It's horrible, but it's true. But Ken Copeland, as long as there's a Speedville, he's the fastest one through there as he leads the field through the kink. Also, apparently, Larry, there are going to be once again some updates in the iRacing service for Road America, and usually, and I think the last time it was primarily just for the signage around Road America. I'm wondering if they'll get that new grasscrete on the exit of the kink that was just installed in the off season.
That'd be an interesting one, but I do bet they put the new bridge that goes over the Road America straight right near pit in. That should be a change that makes it to it. So it's, again, iRacing continuing to work on the sim, always upgrades, always improving. Some new tracks coming out as well. But you can read all that in the release notes. You don't need us to tell you.
You don't need us to tell you that.
No.
Well, maybe you do.
This is where you get all your news, Monday nights.
That's right. better than CNN, better than MSNBC or Fox. Come here to Apex
Come
Racing
hang out
TV.
with the Apex Racing TV and the Greg and Larry show. We'll tell you what it's all about.
Exactly. Now, if they'd only pay us Rachel Maddow money, Larry, I'd be happy. All right, so Larry, Director John pointed this out, but we've got almost half of the GT4 AM field right now sitting on the pit lane. It leaves us with David Klimovich, your leader, Michael Klimovich, John Casey, the 3 remaining AM drivers, and Chuck Labano, who's now made his way up to 13th in pro, is the only racer. There he is in the red and gray Mercedes, the only racer now separating the Klim Club there on track.
And his car is not clean. I'll let you know that is not the normal front end on an AMG Mercedes. But as is typical to Chuck, he'll probably be the first to admit he's not the fastest qualifier. But we saw this in the last season out there with the GR86s. He was not the greatest qualifier, but he had race pace. He'd make his way through the field. Looks like he's doing that again here. Next up might be David Klimovich there in that McLaren. Currently the AM leader.
Gets a good run out of the carousel. Long sweeping turn, hard to keep the understeer under control through there. But Klimovich gets a nice run through the kink as well.
I believe, though, speaking of Labano, he is pro class with the green windshield banner that needs to get corrected for next week.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't mind that. Just some housekeeping.
We'll get Bobby Childs on it during the off.
Here's a guy we have not heard from yet. Eric Violette, normally running at the front. Not so much here tonight. Rough qualifying there in the Aston Martin for the D2D driver. And we'll see what he can do now with another 37 minutes of racing in front of him. Did I do math right? Yes, 37.
Yes. You're asking me if you did math right?
I figured you would know the difference. You'd tell me I'm right. That's all I wanted to hear.
Well, I'm just programmed to say that, Larry. Should I go get the abacus?
Please don't.
No, I'm not going to get the abacus.
It's behind your sundial. All right, on board with overall race leader and, of course, LMP3 leader Josh Chinsky, who's got himself now nearly 5-second advantage on Michelle Squirk and the rest of the field. Huge gap there. Michelle's having a pretty good race of her own. She's about 8 seconds in front of the rest. There she is now coming down into turn 1. But I tell you, that restart for Chinsky has sort of just set him off on another level.
Yeah.
Running a pace that no one can touch. He's the only driver consistently in the 58s. Michelle's got 1 lap in the 58s. Josh has a couple of them. 1:58 Road America is a quick lap time.
And I think it's ironic, Larry, that Ken Copeland, who's coming back from a huge bicycling incident where he went head over heels over the handlebars, is being chased down by three racers that are all sponsored by Huffy Bicycles.
They're chasing him down.
Oh,
you might
as
need an
Leo
off-road
goes wide
bicycle
through the
if you're-
kink, straightens the wheel up though, and maybe lost a little bit of momentum. We'll see if Mike Dam decides to do anything about that. He's going to stay behind his teammate into Canada Corner.
I think Leo Jagoda needs himself a big wheel bicycle now.
That's
He will
right.
handle the off road
With the hand brake. Yeah.
of course. Not a big wheel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I was thinking about big wheels or green machines or whatever.
The big tire bicycle.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh,
He is kinda young.
we're
He
talking
might still have his big
like late 1800s big wheel bicycle.
Greg, not everyone is as old as you. I know that was your bike in high school.
Yes. Hey, I flew to my last work gig on the Wright brothers plane, so
You do live in North Carolina.
that is exactly
All right. Well, Copeland's got himself a pretty good pace here.
the Wright Flyer, man.
They are ripping along at the low to mid 215 range. Jagoda and Dam, despite all the slight off tracks and things, aren't really going away, as you could tell. And I think this could come down to a pit stop thing here as we get down to close to the halfway mark now. I don't know that anybody be daring enough to take an early stop. However, with, as you mentioned, a lot of cars in the pits out of this thing, as well as we had a bunched up field up until about the 15th minute of this race. There may be some empty track somewhere. If you wanted to take a pit stop now and get your fuel in, you might find yourself in some clean air.
Yeah, it would certainly get you to the end, I think, at this point.
Yeah, look at all that empty track that's now being filled by prototypes.
As Jim Pfeiffer, Pam Hirday go into turn 5, side pod to side pod. Hirday gets the pass made to move the 25 car, who's made up 5 positions so far. Now move him up into a podium position in LMP3. By the way, Larry, some of these racers, as they're coming down in through the speed zone towards turn 5, they are actually doing about over 4 times the maximum speed of the Wright Flyer.
That's quick.
Not the Wright Flyer. It only topped out at 30 miles an hour.
Right. That is not quick.
That is not quick.
All right.
Flying, but not flying.
Andre Wedderburn has got his repairs. He is back out on track, as you can see him right there.
Yes.
With Penn here today, and Jimbo Pfeiffer just going around him now, past Canada and up the.
All right, coming into the pit lane now,
Yeah.
Larry, is Eric Violette
Interesting.
in the D2D Aston Martin.
He is just having an off night by the Eric Violette standards. The multi-time champ of a lot of our series, certainly back in the early days, a lot of our TCRs. He was the man to beat by a lot. And then, of course, running very quick in the past in GT3s and some of the others. And tonight, just qualified down the order, a little off on his sequence. We'll see how this goes as a few others are in. Wedderburn back in. And Jake Zito.
And I bet that I think Wedderburn is actually serving the drive-through penalty that
You're
he was
probably
assigned,
right.
Larry.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, the LMP3 is still coming in as Violet heads back out on track, currently sitting 14th on track. He was the first of the GT4 cars to pit, under his own volition, heading in as well. Just saw another GT4 car. Actually, I think it's possibly Jennifer McDonald heading back out. Another person having a fairly quiet evening. Larry Dan Carrillo there is currently sitting 11th position in his
a little bit of battle here with David Klimovich, your AM leader, right on his tails. And then it looks like Pan Hiraday and his LMP3 trying to make his way through. Wow, so fast through the kink. Nice moves by Jimbo Pfeiffer to make sure he sticks with Pan Hiraday all the way down into Canada. Well done there to get around those GT4s of Carrillo and Klimovich.
Oh, and here we go, Larry. Coming down the front straight to start lap number 13. Trying to sweep once again around the outside of Ken Copeland is Leo Dragota. And again, Larry, that Mercedes so late on the brakes that I don't know if it's just that that Dragota doesn't have the confidence in that Porsche. The Porsche being a smaller, lighter car, maybe a little bit more balanced, but at least tonight, not going as deep as the Mercedes under braking.
Yeah, it looked there almost as we had a good view there of Dragota's braking strategy. He definitely broke early, and it looks like he deliberately did not try to go side by side. Maybe at this point, just wanting to keep the pressure. He'll do the same thing here. Look at him, brake early. He's positioning himself. He's not trying to go for a move. I think he's just keeping Copeland honest. And Mike Dam is probably realizing the same thing, obviously, as Leo's teammate, and not trying to take opportunities as Leo dances around, goes left, goes right, just trying to push Copeland off his line. My opinion is if your strategy is to make Ken Copeland make a mistake, good luck. He doesn't make many.
Right.
If you didn't capitalize one you've already seen, there probably won't be another one. But look at Dragota here, bump drafting through the apex of 8. Maybe that's where the advantage is for the Porsche. Maybe it's through 8. Some of these other places, that Mercedes looks so quick.
You know, and you mentioned Mike Dam realizing what the script is showing right now, and I think Taj Edwards very much in the same position. Although Taj didn't get a great run out of 5 and dropped a couple car lengths back with Mariano Barrios behind him. He also had been sitting right on the back bumper of Mike Dam ahead of him.
This could slow them down as Pfeiffer is going to step in front of them in his prototype, as is Pan Hiraday, who apparently has given up the position to Jimbo Pfeiffer.
Yes, he has.
Last time we saw them in this corner, they were the other order. This is just going to get interesting. I think we got a quick replay on this.
Let's see how it happened here, Larry, as they came out of 7, and Hiraday just got blocked in by I guess that was.
That's Nathan Redmond.
Redmond and also Travis Schwenke. I was just checking to see which Orion car that was.
Yeah, Redmond was that Mercedes at the back of the pack there as that group went into 8, and he's the one that kind of forced Hiraday to stay where he was while Jimbo Pfeiffer took the position down. But I suspect we'll be seeing those two in close proximity again very, very soon.
Yeah, well, and it didn't help Hiraday that as they came up to 14, he was trailing right behind Edwards, Dam, and Dragota, and kind of had to just sit there and wait until they got through 14. He didn't have enough of a run up the hill to get past the 3.
Again, Dragota flashing one side to the other. Now I've got, of course, another one of those LMP3s trying to make the way through the traffic.
I believe that Zito? Is Bobby. Is it Zito or is that Bobby Childs? I think that's Bobby Childs.
It is Bobby. You're right. Currently running 5th in the LMP3s on the lead lap. Oh. And that's Ryan Haley, who's got the pack of leaders of GT4s bearing down his neck. He's going to have to probably yield to a few of these as they go around the carousel. Doing everything he can to hug that inside line and not holding anybody up. He's doing his best without completely nailing the brakes, and obviously that's a bad idea to hit your brakes. He's doing just fine, yielding to this fast group, playing through.
once more.
Little gap here. I think maybe some of that LMP3 traffic has just separated the group here by a car length or two extra than what they were before. So almost a full second here. 9/10 Copeland to Dragotta, but I suspect by the time we get down to turn one, they'll be bumper to bumper, nose to tail one more time.
These long straightaways at Road America, well, they are a wondrous thing for making up and clearing what was an advantage. As we're coming up on the top of the hour, Larry, why don't we do, I was just going to say, why don't we do this? Let's take a break before everybody heads to the pits. But I think that early caution really wreaked havoc here. David Klimovich now pits in from the lead in GT for AM. Michael Klimovich now assumes the lead in class, running 12th overall for the GT4s. And that will move John Casey now up in the second.
Well, you talked about how this track has a knack for bringing races closer together. Those long straightaways creates a little bit of draft, even as cars as fast as GT4s and these prototypes. This past week on the sim, it was the Spec Racer Fords at this track, one of my favorite combos. It's nothing but draft city. It is impossible to get a breakaway. So every single race is 4 wide from the first to the last lap. It's so much fun around here. So fast cars, slow cars, they all play so nicely here at America's Park of Speed. I love it that I always make a point of running as many races as possible here whenever it's Road America week for one of the public series.
There is Nathaniel Redmond, one of the new racers to the series here, currently running 7th in Pro in his Mercedes AMG GT4. And Redmond, let's see if we can get some information on Mr. Redmond. He is, well, all the information I have is that he's a rookie this season. So, Nathan, you're going to have to write your own story tonight. But now, Larry, as we are at the top of the hour, why don't we take that break?
Okay.
Thanks to our partners and sponsors. Hopefully not too many of our racers will come down the pit lane in the interim. But you are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. We'll take a quick break. Please stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to the National Park of Speed Road America. It is the season opener, season number 9 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge. I'm Greg Ginsburg. He's Larry Lefty McLeod, and those are racers all heading down the pit lane to take their pit stops. Taj Edwards, Nathaniel Redmond, Chuck Labano is not there. Lucas Dragotta for Dragon Sport coming down the pit lane, and I believe we also have Michael Klimovich, Jose Malwer, and John Casey as well. And Larry, as they do come down the pit lane, we've got Josh Chinsky. He's currently your leader in LMP3. Ken Copeland continues to lead GT4 Pro, and your GT4 AM leader will likely be David Klimovich when all is said and done, as again both Michael Klimovich and John Casey, who had moved up to second in class, both in the pits currently. There he is. There is David Klimovich, and he's going to take another 4-mile circuit of Road America, and not that far ahead though of Michael Klimovich there, who's left his pit stall, and he's going to rejoin now in second.
Well, it'll be a Klim Club 1-2 and once again. As more pits continue, this time it's Jimbo Pfeiffer and Pan here today. That battle for that position still waging like a war, as we've got 20 minutes left in this thing. Still waiting for our leaders in either of the classes to make their way down, either of the leaders in the main classes.
And so there's Josh Chinsky, your leader in LMP3, Larry. And Chinsky and Michelle Squarick have been trading off fast laps the last couple times around. The SRT Esport Racer just setting a 158.12. And prior to that, Squarick had turned in a 158.33. So Chinsky saw that and just kind of turned up the wick. And here come all of our GT4 Pro leaders, Larry, led by Ken Copeland, Leo Dragotta, Mike Dam, Mariano Barrios, Travis Schwenke, and Brian Bennett. It's been kind of a quiet night for Bennett, who's now moved over to an Aston Martin. At the back of that pack, they all come down the pit lane for service.
Let's see who it is. We know that Dragotta was on pole. He'll be in that front stall. Mike Dam going to be right behind him. Let's see who can put in the least amount of fuel.
And Brian. See,
it is Brian. It's Brian Bennett.
I meant to say Brian Bennett, but Larry, it looks like Brian Bennett might be taking tires for that car during the fuel change, and we all know how Brian Bennett does with cold tires.
Well, I don't know. He gets his tires in. Here's the drag race.
Yeah.
It's going to be Mike Dam to win the drag race. It might just be a new leader. Mike Dam.
Contact between Leo Dragotta and Ken Copeland. And indeed, Mike Dam takes the lead there on the pit stops. He was in his pit box, Larry, for 0.4 less than Ken Copeland was, and 0.2 shorter than Leo Dragotta. And that all shows now as they come out of turn 3 and underneath the cheese bridge. Let's see, any other changes of position? Yes, Mariano Barrios and Travis Schwenke leapfrog Taj Edwards. Edwards, who'd been running in 4th, now falls back to 6th position, but Barrios is the one who really made out. Barrios was sitting in 5th position. He now runs 4th behind our former leader Copeland.
Yeah, Taj Edwards pit a lap earlier, and I think his pit wasn't nearly as efficient as this pack, so he lost those couple of spots. So not so good there. Barrios, great job for him, of course. Mike Dam, for him to make that shorter pit stop, as you were talking about, a couple tenths quicker than both Leo as well as Copeland. Mike Dam's got a history of fuel efficiency runs in any series we have. If you watched a lot of our World Challenge, Sportscar series, and the others, Mike Dam is the one who always does it with the quickest pit stops and the longest runs before he makes his fuel stops. I am not that surprised that he would have the shortest one here, and for him, may have been the perfect timing to execute that and now take the lead as your leader in LMP3, Josh Chinsky, in for his fuel stop.
All right, and as Chinsky comes in for service, Larry, let's take a quick look at what we've got coming up on the schedule here in the next couple of weeks. We are going to be, and now Michelle Squarick pitting in from 2nd in LMP3. Next week, you and I were going to take the week off for the Labor Day holiday here in the United States. We'll return in 2 weeks, Monday night, September 8th, where it is the season opener for season number 13 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. Going to be at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. That's for our GTP, P2, and GT3 cars. If you want to get on the grid, go to xmsracing.com to find more information. And if you're watching tonight, but you want to be racing with these guys in 3 weeks at Virginia International Raceway, Monday night, September 15th, same place, xmsracing.com/ I don't even know what the slash is on this one. Just go to xmsracing.com.
That'll get you there.
Exactly. You'll find it. Maybe they'll tell you on the late Apex. All right.
Well, after all of that, yes, Josh Chenski's lead now down to 2.8 seconds. His pit stop quite a bit longer than Michelle Squirk. So we'll see if Squirk perhaps has a strategy
8
here.
seconds longer, Larry.
Yes, that's that's a massive amount. So not a great stop for Chenski. Wondering if he went with the all 4 tires, which may or may not pay off around here. I don't know that we've gotten reports that tire wear isn't all that rough here at Road America. Yeah. So many long straightaways. So we'll see if Michelle Square can do something with that, as leader Josh Chenski now working his way through some traffic. I think that was Brian Bennett he just went through, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Speaking of cold tires. As you talked about him being the other one of the front pack of GT4s that took on tires, and here he is now struggling. Let's look at Chenski. This is going to be tight. Goes past Edwards, goes past Schwenke, goes past Barrios, and there's your front 3. He's going to have a great view, it looks like, for that battle of the front 3. Ken Copeland had poked at Leo Dragota for just a moment. Didn't go through.
He gets to breathe for just a moment coming up the hill through Thunder Valley.
Chenski's just going to wait.
Exactly. And he lost a little bit of time there.
Quite a bit,
to Square, but she's going to come up on some of the same traffic as they come out of 14 and up.
Yeah, but she's going to get them on the straightaway.
Yeah.
And her trap speed's enough where she won't even have to contend with them. In fact, she may even be able to use them as draft around.
And that's exactly what she's doing. She just moved over driver's left to get a little bit of a toe off Ken Copeland. But actually, Larry, she's going to end up following our top 3 in GT4 through turn 1.
Yeah, the horsepower isn't, I guess, that much more. Her top speed's not great. She's still trying to use that draft. She's going to try and get inside of Dragota through 3, and Dragota's not happy, but he's going to have to let her go. Yeah, so that little bit of an advantage for Squirk has suddenly gone as Chenski's lead's now back up to 4 seconds.
Yeah. Travis Schwenke takes a quick look to the inside of Mariano Barrios' McLaren. Can't quite get alongside there as you come over the crest of the hill and the rear end of the car unloads. And now Taj Edwards coming underneath his teammate. He's going to be stuck to the outside. Let's see if Schwenke decides to maybe push Taj out wide where it's going to get very loose. Edwards, I think, good decision there, Larry. Maybe got out of the throttle a little bit and tucked in because there are a lot of marbles on the outside of the carousel there. There's not a lot of grip the further you get out there.
No, and in fact, watching these GT4s tonight, all of them seem to be getting out there. This car is right at the Harry limit, being able to go through the kink flat out, and they're all trying anyway, which is just bringing up all that dust and dirt at the exit of the kink. And everybody just keeps their foot in it. It's the fast way around it, right?
So they say. But obviously the gloves off there, at least to some extent. Obviously, as we just saw there going through the carousel, neither one of those racers, I think, are going to be putting the other into harm's way or pushing the issue that much. That said, we're probably going to just watch them go up in a big ball of fire. Yeah, they don't have black and white.
Yeah, not exactly the Rockefeller team here when it comes to those lack of team orders, but they're playing well together. I think these two have their sights set on that friendly neighborhood racing Barrios.
A little bit further up ahead, the other two Orion racers. Now
this
Leo
may be it.
Dragotta takes a look to the inside on Mike Dam, and he's got position. We talked a little bit earlier how Dragotta was maybe a little bit earlier and softer on the brakes, but he gets the move done there.
I tell you what, Mike Dam may have done a little bit too much friendly Canadian there and left that door wide open for Ken Copeland to step through. And Ken says, "Thank you very much, Mike. I will take it from here." And we are back to now Dragotta in front of Copeland and Mike Dam.
Yeah, Dam, besides taking a real late entry and just maybe going a little bit too deep down in the 5 area, ended up dropping some wheels off into where the gator teeth end, and there's just a little bit of grass there. And
Taj.
Speaking of grass and not getting a good exit, coming out of turn 7, or probably out of turn 8, going into the carousel, Taj Edwards goes off. Let's take a look and see what happened here.
We're talking about how nice the teammates were playing. In this case, Edwards may have gotten a little bit too close to Travis Schwenke and parks it at the apex. Does a good job getting out of the way to not get run down by the rest of the field. But for Taj, that's about a 10-second loss in position there.
Yeah, and I think that just with that mid-engine car area, it was enough to maybe either get out of the throttle or transition a little bit to the brake mid-corner to bring the rear end around on him. I don't think he made any contact with his teammate.
Oh, well, look at this. Dragotta now back to third. He was leading about a half a lap ago. What happened? Replay. Thank you, John. As they go into Canada, Copeland now dives to the inside under brakes.
Very deep down in the Canada corner, and I don't think Dragotta was ready for that move.
I don't know that he was
either.
either.
He was expecting it.
Great on the brakes by the Mercedes, and look at this. Mike Dam decides this time he's going to take the opportunity and all of Bill Mitchell to then finish the pass on Dragotta. So look at this. Is now Copeland back to the lead. So Copeland's led most of it. Dragotta led a lap or two early, and then a lap or two after the pits.
And as we were in that replay area, let's go to another replay. Let's go to the videotape as Leo Dragotta gets around Mike Dam, uses the draft to his advantage going down in the 1.
So going into the final corner, as they were trying to finish the pass, Mike Dam wasn't really set up for a great exit of 14. Dragotta gets the run, and now we're back to the same way we were going into the pit stops, where it's Copeland, Dragotta, and Dam in that order. Now they've got LMP3s they're fighting through, and Dam looks like he may have run a little wide there. Perhaps get mixed up there with those prototypes.
Well, let's see what happens as Copeland now has the 19 machine right by
Bobby?
him. That's Bobby Childs, indeed.
And Zito, right, that just made their way through.
Although it's showing as the 19, I think it's actually the 17 for Bobby Childs. And you thought I couldn't count that.
You're only off by 2.
Right. All right, as we've now got under 10 minutes remaining, actually just now under 7 minutes remaining here at Road America. It's going very quickly tonight, Larry.
It does, especially when 10 minutes of it was under yellow. That 7 minutes remaining, though, means that Michelle Squirk's got to figure out how to find 3.5 seconds fairly quickly. But this battle seems to have intensified in the last 5 or 10 minutes. These guys now, these two Orions, got to figure out how to stick with your race leader, Ken Copeland, because right now Dragotta and Dam seems to be swapping positions, but it's without Ken worrying about it.
So Squirk just reset her personal best lap and made up about 0.3 of a second on Chinsky there that last time through, but Chinsky still has about 3.5 seconds, a little bit less than 3.5 seconds on his closest competitor. See square a little bit off in the distance as our GT. This is the battle now for fourth, just off the podium in GT for Pro. Mariano Barrios and Travis Schwenke. Now that Taj Edwards has fallen off this fight with that little incident down at turn 8. Barrios gets very defensive, moves into the inside. Larry, the rear end of that car, just dancing around under braking.
Up the hill is an option.
Yeah.
Look at this. Schwenke did not budge. He stayed there the whole time, even while Barrios moved in and out. Now Barrios is going blinky, blinky.
And that could have been the end of both of them, Larry, because I think for a moment there, Schwenke might have been where Barrios technically was there. As Barrios came out of turn 5, kind of what we saw with Mike Dam 2 laps earlier. He ended up dropping a wheel on the exit into the dirt there. Just didn't get a good run up the hill.
Well, that's part of when you are trying to defend going into 5, you compromise your entry. You typically end up going wide on the exit.
Right.
Great job by Schwenke to take advantage of it. And Schwenke could have backed out before they even got to the Corvette Bridge, but he really recognized how bad of a run Barrios had. Schwenke then was able to stick his nose down the inside of 6, and here we are. Now, with 5 minutes to go, I think Barrios has a good chance to try and counter move here, perhaps on the Road America Straight with coming off of 14. They likely might have Ryan Haley in the BMW in front of them, which could either create some draft or create some traffic for these two to have to contend with. That's Bobby.
Uh-oh.
Where is Bobby? What are we doing, Bobby? In turn 1. In the fight with Jake Zito.
He's not alone.
That's Jake Zito there in front of him.
Zito there ahead.
And Bobby might just lock the rear up on his own.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Probably trying to not run into the back of Zito in that hard braking zone. And sometimes in these cars, they have a tendency, you have to run a lot of rear bias on them. So if you snap that pedal too hard, it'll lock up. And that may have been what was Bobby's issue there, just rear lockup with a high brake bias that way.
Well, there you go, Larry. Christine over the Klim Club saying that they're actually watching this from Jellystone National Park. So from one national park to another. And
Yellowstone.
Isn't that where Yogi Bear is from?
Yeah, something like that.
Yogi and Boo Boo.
All right, Josh Jinsky resets fastest lap of the race at a 57.7 with about 3 minutes to go. Probably 2 more laps there for his LMP3.
Yeah, he's lapping at about 2 minutes a lap, Larry, so probably going to get the white flag next time by.
Yep. Look at this. Dragotta, Copeland, nose to tail one more time as they run through turn 8 around the carousel. I tell you, those Orions are quick in 8. They've got that deep braking zone and that flick across the apex down. The problem is Ken Copeland seems to be quicker on the brakes everywhere else, including Canada. If you take out Canada, it's really tough to pass at Road America.
Well, yeah, exactly. And at this point, the Orions, they don't seem to have the legs coming out of the carousel either, Larry, as they lose maybe 2 car lengths. And regardless of whether Copeland's better on the brakes in Canada than the Porsches or not, they can't get close enough to even try down there.
So my guess is these guys are pretty good as well through 3 and get the run on the back straight. We'll see then if they could try to outbrake Copeland. We've seen Copeland do the opposite, outbrake the Orions. Right now, Dragotta's going to have to give Copeland a little bit of his own medicine and get a good deep braking zone at a 5 and hopefully try to make a pass. Going to probably get 2 more shots at it. As we said, Chinsky, your overall race leader, is probably going to get white flag next time by. These guys, 2 more chances to mix up the order. Look at this, Mike Dam pushing on the straightaway against his teammate Dragotta to try and stick with Ken Copeland.
Porsches get nice rotation out of turn 1. They do make up ground as they come down the hill into 3. As we go back to our leader, Chinsky, coming out of turn 14 onto the Road America Straight. He is going to see the white flag this time by.
Yeah, and so that'll be 1 lap to go. There's your leader of AM, David Klimovich, also seeing the white flag. I don't think Chinsky's going to be able to catch our GT4 Pro leaders as they're about a half a lap ahead of this group. In fact, there they are And look how much closer going into 5. I'm telling you, these guys are quick.
Right.
Those 90 flick type of corners, turn 1, turn 3, turn 5, they're very good at those. The problem is, and even turn 8, but they're not good in carousel. They're not good in 14. Those longer duration corners, the Porsche develops that push, I think, and they don't quite get the strong exit. But look at them here. They can break deep, jump across this apex, and get a good run here under the bridge, although this time they may have...
but you know, Larry, I think part of that is, and why they're not getting a good run through the carousel, is Leo is trying to make up so much ground under braking going into turn 8. He's not getting good exit speed out of there. That I think early on he was carrying a lot more speed through the apex at turn 8, and he didn't find himself this far back coming through the kink and into Canada. And so, you know, as you said, he's got one more lap. He's not going to be close enough here. So he's kind of running out of time. Might have to try to make the move going into turn 5 if he can carry the speed through turn 1 and down into turn 3. But you know, it's a big change for him early on, Larry. You know, I said that, I think Copeland's car is a much better braking, but you notice that Leo Dragotta was getting on the brakes maybe a little bit earlier and maybe dragging the brakes, you know, maybe a little bit softer pedal going into the brake zone. And he's completely, I think, as he's gotten more desperate, he's changed that strategy.
Yeah, so good run this time. Now it looks like for Dragotta, doesn't need the tail push coming from Mike Dam. Watch as he flicks the car across the apex here in 1. We'll get back to them in a minute.
All right, Josh Chinsky coming up Road America straight and taking the checkered flag. He's going to win round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge in LMP3 as Ken Copeland gets very loose coming out of turn 3, Larry. And now Dragotta tries to make a move around the outside through the grass. And as Mike Dam has to go to avoid both of the Orion cars, can't take advantage.
Oh boy. And this could change everything because damage shoved his nose in there.
Maybe a light bit of contact coming through turn 3. Copeland's able to straighten the car back up as now the two Orion racers, Dragotta and Dam, come through turn 6 underneath the Corvette bridge. Dragotta ends up going back into second position.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think Copeland's managed to hold off the onslaught.
I had lost track of who is who with the slow up there for Copeland coming off of 3 and the 2 Orion cars scissoring back and forth behind him. One on the left, back on the left, the other one on the right. They both tried both ways. Neither one worked. But then the side-by-side through 5, as that mayhem all went through, now all of a sudden Copeland's got himself by 5 car lengths. Those 2 Orions could do nothing about it. This is the part of the track that Mercedes has had the advantage all night.
And so there you go, is Ken Copeland now opening up the advantage. And, you know, I start to wonder, Larry, if Leo Dragotta had gone driver's right coming out of turn 3 instead of committing to the outside to the point where he was 2 wheels in the grass, it might have made things easier, not just on him, but on Mike Dam as well, who then had to take evasive action as his teammate came right across his bow. As Ken Copeland now takes the lead through turn 14, up the Road America straight for the very last time, and taking your win in GT4 Pro here at round number 1 from the National Park of Speed. Ken Copeland from the wrong stuff. Leo Dragotta will finish second. Mike Dam will finish in third. And a couple seconds back, about 5 seconds back, Travis Schwenke leads Mariano Barrios across the line. They're going to finish 4th and 5th in GT4 AM. I believe, they are here. Is this on the cooldown lap, Larry? I'm trying to determine. Yeah, I believe this is on the cooldown lap already. Yeah,
photo opportunity there for Klim Club.
Yeah, good job there as the Klim Club finishes 1-2 in AM. David taking the win for Slow Bros Racing. Michael finishing 2nd. John Casey finishing in 3rd. A great run there. All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's take another quick break. Well, thanks to our partners and sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk to some of our race winners here tonight from the National Park of Speed, Road America, where you've just seen round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. Please stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sportscar Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Welcome back to Road America, the National Park Speed, where you've just seen round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and here is how everything finished just a few moments ago. Josh Chinsky taking the win in LMP3 over Michelle Square, margin of victory 3.8 seconds. Jimbo Pfeiffer for Sector 5 comes home in third with Bobby Childs. Even with that little spin over turn 1, good recovery from Bobby in the last couple laps. He'll finish just off the podium in 4th. Over in GT4 Pro, Ken Copeland for the wrong stuff takes the win in his Mercedes AMG GT4 with the Orion teammates Elio Dragota and Mike Dam rounding out your podium. Orion's Travis Schwenke will finish in 4th, while Mariano Barrios finishes in 5th. And then finally in GT4 AM, Slow Bros Racing Top 2, David Klimovich takes the win with Michael Klimovich finishing in 2nd. John Casey from Frito Sport finishes in 3rd with Andre Wedderburn. Incident, drive-through penalty, everything. He comes home in 4th. Great finish for him as Ken Copeland slaps the wall. All right, let's take a look at to see if he was in the green room or not. But no, he was too busy doing that. Tell you what,
the equivalent of dropping your dozen donuts on the ground outside of the donut store right after picking them up. You're trying to do donuts and it just fell.
Well, maybe you grease them up with some bratwurst first. Anyway, all right, let's bring in our GT4 AM winner tonight, Larry, driving for Slow Bros Racing in the number 21 McLaren. Gosh, the Klim Club's gotta be happy. David Klimovich.
All right, cue the Klim Club. David Klimovich getting the win here in the AM category of GT4. David, congrats. How do you feel about that race?
Oh, I felt pretty good until I looked at my overall standing since I was in 14th. I was really glad we split this one into amateur and pro because those guys are really fast.
Yeah, there's a whole pack of them that are just lightning. I don't know how they do it either, but you had a good race there. For in fact, I think even Michael led a couple laps while you had done your pit exchange in there as well. So a really good night for the Slow Bros tonight. You guys really are working on it this season. It's a great way to start getting max points for AM. But if you guys really worked it coming into this one to try and win this thing?
Yeah, we've been practicing the past couple of weeks. I personally have trophies for the other 2 series. I don't have a GT4 car yet, so I'm really hoping to get a GT4 car on the shelf this season.
That would be awesome. That definitely would be. So a great run here tonight. Didn't seem to be too much activity. I think once you got a good qualifying position, there was a lot of battles going on behind you. Wedderburn had a little battle early on until he ran into his issue. Of course, Michael was sort of around some of those battles as well, but you managed to keep your nose clean through a lot of that. Is that just a good setup, a good qualifying result for you? You're actually thinking that maybe you could even be up higher in future races?
Well, to be honest, actually, I had a sprint set up I was practicing with all week, and then in practice just before the race, I had the baseline set up, and I had just tweaked one of the roll bars, and that's it. And I realized right before the race, that was my setup, and I said, well, that's what I'm used to for right now, so that's what I have to use.
Use the familiar one.
Yeah, and I was actually having a lot of trouble, but I was looking at the standings before the practice times of everybody, and I knew I had to do pretty good in qualifying just to get away from the pack. So my final 2 laps of qualifying, I actually set 2 consecutive fastest laps by multiple tenths. So I don't know what happened in qualifying, but I really picked up the pace a little bit, and that definitely helped a lot.
That's great. Hopefully you'll see some more of that in the coming weeks. But for tonight, helped you turn you into victorious here in the GT4 AMs. Anybody in particular you want to mention or give thanks to for helping you get the win?
Oh, everybody in the Klim Club, my girlfriend especially. She always brings me water. I have a little backpack on my chair that she fills up. It's really nice. I don't know if you guys saw, you mentioned the Klim Club should sign the car, so we got signatures. There's a few more I still need to add.
about all those signatures on the front there.
Yeah, on the hood, those are all signatures from the Klim Club.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, there's a couple more to add. But yeah, I want to thank all those guys. They're my sponsors, Ace Calaro, for all your masonry needs in Boston, and then my whiteboards for all the custom. They do lots of custom whiteboards. If you guys ever need any printouts, we can hook you up. And then St. Pete Sport Fishing. You guys are looking for a sport trip in Cape Cod.
Very cool. Awesome.
You guys, of course, as well. You guys always put on a great show.
I appreciate that. We just call what we see, and you guys put on the really good effort for us to call tonight. A lot of fun. But for you, getting victory, round 1, it's a great way to start out the season for the Slowbros driver himself, the lead of the Slowbro pack, David Klimovich. Congrats.
Thank you. I'm hoping to talk to you guys again soon.
Well, let's hope so.
Let's hope so. All right, everybody, David Klimovich from Slowbros Racing. All right, let's move over now to, let's go to GT. Let's go to GT4 Pro. Larry, since we started off with the AMs, I'm going to bring in the best bike rider there is from the wrong stuff, driving his AMG GT4 Mercedes, the number 15, Ken Copeland.
All right, Ken Copeland, victorious here tonight in GT4 Pro. And Ken, is this what you came back for? Was fights like tonight? Because it looked like a good one.
Oh yeah, that was a blast. I won't pretend that I feel like I have any right to winning that race because Leo had all the pace and all the straight line speed. He did a great job tonight. Mike Dam did the same thing, but I think they kind of like gave it up a little bit towards the end. But I'll take one where I can get one this season.
Yeah, it's just amazing to watch after the pit stops, the way that Mike jumped out. He had that great pit stop, pulls into the lead. He makes a mistake. You and Leo get by. Leo and you start changing spots a little bit. And then the last couple laps, it seemed to just be a bit of chaos. Is that just an hour of that intensity just kind of catching up where every single corner has to be perfect or you're going to get jumped?
I don't think so. Like every corner did need to be somewhat perfect, but I think there were just some little mistakes here and there from all three of us, honestly. Like I said, going into, I think, Canada corner, Leo just kind of drove off the track that one lap. And if that doesn't happen, I don't think I ever really get a chance to pass him because he was pretty flawless tonight for the most part. So I think little wins here, little wins there, and ultimately you add them up, and that's how they tallied in the end.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a fun one all season long. We talked to Leo pre-race. I said, which driver makes you worry the most? Your name may have come up as a very small, short list of drivers, so I know he's happy to have your level of competition, and I'm sure you are as well. Tonight is exactly, I think, what we expect to see this whole season. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I can't imagine how much fun that was to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Great to see this kind of fight, this kind of action here just in round 1. But I know that you've got a team. I know you're happy to be back, but your team's happy you're back. You want to give any shout outs and mentions to any of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the wrong stuff, obviously the whole team, great squad, fun to joke around with, train with, race with, all kinds of stuff. I wanted to thank Apex Racing TV, obviously, Larry, Craig, Jonathan, y'all do a wonderful job week in, week out. So thank you so much for that effort. I know a lot of prep work goes into it. And then obviously all of the league admins across the board, Kevin, Jeff, all the work Bobby puts in on paint. I know there's people behind the scenes setting up other series and whatnot. They always do a great job. Ricmotech, the sponsor, helping us out. And then obviously the TBO sponsors, Ubi Safe, Dangerous, Sabruzi, SimMotion, SimCoach. Go out there. There's some really great content, some really great materials and products. Enjoy yourselves and have some fun. These are the fights we live for. So.
Oh, it was so much fun to watch. Tell the friends and family a race like this. If this could be every Monday night, we'd have viewership, in the tens of thousands for sure, because this was a good one. So congrats. We're getting there. Gotta start somewhere. But congrats on the win tonight. Ken Copeland getting the win in GT4 Pro for the wrong stop. Congrats.
Yeah. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks, guys.
You too.
All right, thanks, Ken. All right, Larry, let's move over now to LMP3. Taking the win here in round number 1 for SRT Esport, driving the number 18 Ligier, Josh Chinsky.
All right, Josh Chinsky back with a vengeance here to start off with round 1 with a win here in LMP3. And Josh, a good solid run for you here. What do you think tonight's difference was for you?
Honestly, I have to give a shout out to my teammate in SRT. Also, he's our resident setup builder, and he and I put probably about 6 hours worth of on-track time trying to figure out how to get this car managed, because I haven't driven this car in about 2 years, and I didn't like anything that the setup shops had to offer. So that's probably what I got to give the most credit to, is my teammate, because I don't even know if I would have finished the race if I had to do one of the setup shops for this track.
Yeah, and this race got off to an interesting start with a big wreck there on the opening third or fourth lap, and you guys all had to bunch back up again when it looked like maybe you and Michelle had already kind of broken away. Well-timed restart, I gotta say, because it seemed like by the time you came onto the back straight, you already had several car lengths. Is that just something... That's just the way you practice restarts for, to give you that kind of advantage, to make sure that you're not chased?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, especially with, I've been racing a lot of cars that have the new tire model, so I practice pushing as hard as I can on cold tires. Now, obviously, the LMP3 has not gotten the new update, but it functions a little differently for the first lap after you've done a cool down or a pace lap. So I think that's part of it. And then just reaction time too, of not necessarily gaming the system, but as soon as I hear the P in prototype, it is foot to the floor. So I think it's just a matter of, it could be internet connection. There's a bunch of things. But I was running a medium downforce setup, whereas I think almost everybody else was running a high downforce in the car. So I think that helped along the straights and the restarts. Doesn't hurt to have 2 really long straights at the start of the lap to help build that gap out.
Yeah, and that's it seemed to be, at least for those restarts, a huge help to you. And then once you got to the straightaways, able to just pull away. Michelle did give you, at least try to keep you honest there. She stayed within a couple seconds, it seemed, that whole race. The other thing I was going to ask, though, about is, which closed that gap down a little bit, was your pit stops.
Yeah.
Did you take tires on that one?
Yeah, I took tires, but it was, so the problem was I relied upon ChatGPT to tell me what the time was going to be between whether or not I took front tires, or if, because, there are some cars that do it by axle, and then some cars that do it by left or right, whether or not it's going to be the same amount of time as taking all 4 tires. Apparently, the LMP3 is axle versus left or right side. And I didn't calculate that. I didn't actually go out on track and do it to test it. So that's what happened there. Is I was trying to take all left-hand side tires, and then I'm just sitting there in the pits all right, come on. What, can I go yet? And as soon as we hit the 20 mark, I was like, oh no, I screwed this one up. So yeah, that's kind of what dropped it there. I was really kind of enjoying my 12-second gap, and then as soon as it dropped to 3 seconds, I was like, oh, I got to focus back up again. I screwed up.
Well, you did manage to maintain that lead all the way out and pull yourself in for the victory here in the opening round. I see a couple names in the entry list that might work to keep you honest in the future rounds. We'll see how that goes as well, as if Michelle
absolutely. A certain lemon is
there may be a Caleb on the way that you know pretty well.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Looking forward to. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. Had a family emergency that he's been dealing with for the last couple weeks. Praying for him and his family, wishing them the best. But it's looking like everything's going to be wrapped up here, and he should be joining us for week 2. So it's going to be fun to have both Michelle and Caleb to compete against. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But you can savor the victory for a couple extra weeks here, because I think we're off next week. We'll be back in 3 weeks for round 2, and looking forward to that. So congrats tonight. Anybody else you want to give a special mention to here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, shout out to you guys with Apex Racing. You guys do a fantastic broadcast as always. I can't wait to stay up for the next hour and a half and rewatch this back. Shout out to XMS for running this miniMite Sportscar Championship Series. SRT, you guys are always fantastic. Already shouted out for the John for our setup builder. Dude, you're freaking amazing. The things you did with this car this week is just fantastic. And shout out to my parents for watching. I appreciate all the support you guys give me. And last but not least, shout out to both Penn Station East Coast Subs and Lifestyle Integrations for sponsoring the car for this season. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate all the support you guys give. It lets me just put my all, knowing that I've got a backer who can help me participate in these leagues and use my subscriptions for the setup shops. So shout out to you guys. If anybody in the Midwest or a little bit down south is interested in a Philly cheesesteak, make sure to go to Penn Station, because there is none other.
They are pretty good. I've had them myself. I got them up here in Michigan. So awesome job tonight, Josh. Congrats on getting the win. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Your winner from the LMP3s from SRT Esport, Josh Chinsky.
All right, Larry, that is going to bring our season opener to a close. But before we go, again, let's look at what we've got coming up in the next couple weeks. Again, we're going to be off next week for the U.S. Labor Day holiday, but we'll be back Monday night, September 8th. That's 2 weeks from tonight for round number 1, season number 13 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. It's going to be from Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, for our GTP, P2, and GT3 racers. If you want to join the grid, head on over to xmsracing.com. And then in 3 weeks, Monday night, September 15th, it's round number 2 of the miniMite Sports Car Challenge. We head to heaven on earth. We're over to where we just had this past weekend. The IMSA Virginia is for Racing Lovers Grand Prix. And I know the VP Challenge racers there for our LMP3 and GT4 racers had a very nice race. And you can have one as well if you want to join the grid. It's not too late, xmsracing.com. So for Larry Lefty McLeod, for John Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. If you're here in the States, have a wonderful Labor Day holiday weekend, everybody, and we'll see you then.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.